Welcome back to The Vote Matters. I'm your host, T.S. Neum, and here at TVM we discuss political topics to a nonpartisan and entertaining manner to empower you, the voter. Sitting alongside me today is the producer, and today's topic of discussion is the 1 week period of now Trump winning the presidential election. And you know some of the events that have already occurred with this win.
Yeah, I mean, what a win, though, right? I mean, the electoral landslide, the fall of the blue wall, unbelievable, taking back the Senate, and also now having Congress, even though it's a very small majority, it is a Congress that is Republican. So he has all three branches of government, so that's pretty huge. And then he also has the courts, and there's a very conservative leaning in the courts. But how did everybody sort of, what did it affect? My God, look at the stock market. What a rally this week. Unbelievable. I think the day after the election, the Dow Jones Industrial went up like 1,200 points. Massive. And then you saw crypto just like Bitcoin is just going off the chart. I mean, wow, unreal. And I think that's a really big tell of a lot of things, like the whole crypto space.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, didn't they say that crypto put in, $500 million into this election alone? And now, Elon is pro-crypto. Trump seems to be very pro-crypto as well. So you have a lot of people now in positions of, like the presidency and whatnot, that want crypto to flourish. Right?
Well, yeah, one of the things that's been holding back crypto is sort of the institutions, right? They didn't know if they could invest in crypto because if they invest in something that's not sanctioned by the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, which Gary Gensler was leading, then they basically run afoul and run risk of basically being sued. So they don't want to do that. So they were waiting for some type of regulations to tell them how and what they can invest in and what that asset would be, right? So now with Trump winning, it's pretty much adios Gary Gensler, and whoever they put in the SEC. I don't think the person in the SEC is going to necessarily deal with crypto. Crypto's not like a stock, right? It's different. It's totally different. Like with stocks, basically what happens there is a company issues stock. They have a board of directors. The stockholders get to vote in those board of directors who guide how the company works. Crypto companies don't have that. They have their own governance process in place. They're really more like a commodity in how they're structured. They're not really structured like a stock. And so that's why it really shouldn't be under the SEC. The SEC deals with like stocks and everything of that nature, but there's a whole different branch of government that deals with the commodity side of the house. And I think that's really where crypto will really land when you get all the regulations and how you can invest. So it'll be sort of regulations similar to if you invest in gold, silver, or other things of that nature. I think that's where it's going. And that's a far better way to go when it comes to the crypto environment. So that was a huge win. That's why crypto just said, woo, out goes Gary Gensler, get rid of that guy. And believe me, adios, that guy's, never mind. Never mind. But yeah.
But that's also we were talking a little bit about it yesterday with the cryptocurrency and how the crypto market works. And you used the term blockchain, right?
Blockchain, yep.
So cryptocurrency is the blockchain or it's based around a blockchain?
So think about it I think the analogy I was given to you was back in the 60s and 70s, the U.S. taxpayers literally paid for the internet, right? But do the U.S. taxpayers get a royalty for all the companies that use the internet? Not a dime, right? So Facebook, Amazon, they basically are the gatekeepers for you going into the internet and buying things or communicating with people. So these companies centralize that power, and you really can't get anything other than if you buy into their stock. And if you buy into their stock, you really don't have control because, again, it's a board of directors in that company that are going to determine the direction of the company. And so you're just sort of, okay, whatever. And then you go, well, I'll buy it in a portfolio, like let's say a mutual fund But again, the mutual fund, it's going to elect the directors that are going to represent their investors' best interest, because they're ones out there investing, not really from a social or economic perspective what's in the best interest of people who are investing, actually pensioners or just regular mom and pops and Joe Blow. Crypto is totally different. Crypto is 100% different. You can own, the blockchain is like the internet, right? So you can own that piece. So you own like Bitcoin, or you own Solana, or you own Ethereum. And then people build protocols and applications on top of that blockchain. And you can buy the protocols that connect that application to the blockchain. So you literally can own every piece of everything that's on that blockchain. So you become an owner of not only the application, like let's say a Facebook, but you also own the communication that is between Facebook and the blockchain. And you can also own the actual blockchain, which would be like owning the internet. So that's the difference, like what I see today when I look at the crypto world, is that it's allowing so much more ownership of everything in there by the individuals by buying the various tokens. So, yeah, you definitely, I think, that was a clear sort of win this week, was the whole crypto thing. It'll be very interesting to see how that now is sort of where that falls. Is it now going to get pushed out of the SEC and into whoever's in charge of the commodities and futures? Or will the person actually take ownership as the SEC and make... But whoever it is, it's definitely going to be far more friendlier than what Gary Gensler was offering.
Well, the other thing, too, that I thought was interesting about cryptocurrency was when we were talking about buying power, right? Whereas with the dollar, because they can always create more dollars and there's a potential for the dollar to lose its value, with cryptocurrency, it seems like there's certain tokens that have a fixed number of tokens, right? Like Bitcoin has created 20 million tokens, but they're not going to create any more. And then you see some other ones where they say, okay, we've allowed 10 million tokens to be put out in the market, but there's still 20 million tokens in reserve, right?
Yeah, so when you think about it, yeah, what you're referencing to is the debasement of currency. So it's a fiat currency, meaning that we print dollars based on nothing. We just sell our treasuries, say we'll give you interest, and print more dollars. And so if you're holding a dollar today with only, let's say, $20 trillion in circulation, it's 1 in 1/20 trillionth is what the value of that dollar is. But the reality is they are printing trillions and trillions of dollars every year, so the value of your dollar is depreciating significantly. So if you were to look at the dollar in 1913 and say how much is it debased, I mean how much value has it lost since 1913 in purchasing power, real purchasing power, it's almost like 98%. Meaning, if you were to convert that, it would mean 2 cents in 1913 would be worth $1 today, is what that means.
Wow.
But in your point around cryptos are generally, they can only make so many, and they can't make any more than that. And Bitcoin is limited to 20 million. You look at something like Ethereum, it's got a limitation. In fact, it has a burn rate where it's trying to burn off a certain amount so that you get sort of an artificial decreasing of, and I say artificial because it's all done through mathematics. So, yeah, they try to limit the amount that are out there. So they can't create any more. And there's a governing agency within those tokens that prevent them from creating more. They just can't, like, out of the blue, oh, I'm going to create more. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, I mean, I think it's quite interesting, especially that crypto was such a heavy player in this election.
Oh, yeah.
And for our viewers back home, hopefully you guys do a little bit more research on kind of what cryptocurrency is. I still am learning a lot about it.
Yeah, well, one of the things that's really interesting about the crypto environment is it's a very small market right now. I think it's like 2 or 3 trillion, right? And if you really think about where it's going to go over the next, I don't know, 5-10 years, it's going to grow significantly. So I do see that as a really strong play in the future when you're looking at, where are opportunities going to occur, it's definitely going to be in crypto.
Well, to our viewers back home, as I was saying, be sure to do your research on cryptocurrency. If this is just the beginning of it, then, I think it's quite a wise decision to get more informed on exactly what it is. And as always, the vote matters, and stay tuned for more upcoming content.